Hey, second grade, Miss Shannon here to read to you a prairie guard dog. And today we are going to be talking about our comprehension skill and strategy for the week, which is main topic and key details. Remember, our genre is narrative nonfiction. And our essential question is, what are features of different animal habitats? So we're going to learn a little bit about a prairie dog and its habitat today. Here is a refresher of our main topic and key details that you worked on yesterday. The main topic is what the selection is about. Key details give information about the main topic. So all of our key details that we find must relate back to our main topic. Here is an example once more of the graphic organizer we will be using. I'm going to read the story to you, and as I read, I want you to be thinking about what is the main topic of this story or this selection, and what are the key details about the main topic. After I finish reading, we will work together to fill in this graphic organizer for main topic and key details about our story. A prairie guard dog. I am on a journey. My trip is to a prairie. It is in the outdoor world called nature. Many animals live in a prairie habitat. This place has what prairie dogs need to survive. A prairie has a lot of grasses, but few trees. Without places to hide, a prairie can be dangerous for some animals. Good morning. It is early in the morning. First, I see a prairie dog. I name him Pete. He peeks his head out of his burrow underground. He looks around. Then Pete calls loudly to his family, "Yip!" He lets them know it is safe to come out. Soon, 4 prairie dogs come out. And I see a caption for my picture, so I'm going to read the caption. It reads, "Prairie dogs build underground burrows to keep themselves safe from predators." Pete is the guard, and he is restless. He cannot rest because he is always looking around for danger. This allows the other prairie dogs to safely munch on grasses and seeds. They can also groom each other or work on their burrow. Yap, yap. And I'll read the other caption. It reads, "Prairie dogs can make 11 different sounds to communicate with each other." Wow, that's a new fact I had not heard before. A scare. Oh no! Pete spies a large badger. When he sees it, he gives a loud bark. Yap, yap! His family recognizes the warning. Some hide in tall grasses, and some jump into the burrow. The badger runs at Pete, but the watchful guard is able to escape into the burrow. I am glad he is able to get away from danger. After a few minutes, Pete peeks his head out again and he is back on the job. And I see a picture of a badger with a caption. The caption reads, "Badgers live on prairies and hunt prairie dogs." Break time. The sun gets higher and it is hot now. The prairie dogs slip into their deep burrow where it is cooler. Even Pete goes in. Tunnels, like hallways, lead to different areas. There is a sleeping room. There is a room used like a bathroom. The prairie dogs cover up roots and seeds in one room. Later, they eat the buried food there. And wow, second graders, I can see that diagram of what the burrow inside looks like, and I can see the tunnels or hallways that connect each of the rooms. Pretty neat. They have their own little habitat under the ground. I hope you have all been thinking and keeping in mind, what is the main topic of the story? What is this story mostly about? Keep it in mind and we'll share out once we finish the story. Second shift. I keep watching the burrow. Finally, the sun begins to set and a different prairie dog peeks its head out. I name him Gary. Pete must be off duty. Yep, Gary calls. The other prairie dogs come back out. The prairie dogs eat and play until the moon is high in the sky. Then they go to sleep in their burrows. I wonder if Pete will be back on duty. I will see in the morning. And I can see a chart labeled Prairie Dog Facts, and I can learn about their size, their weight, their habitat, the food they eat, the shelter or place where they live, and the predators, or animals that eat them. So before we move on to identify the main topic and key details, I see a question under Make Connections. What are 2 features of a prairie dog's habitat? So what are 2 things you learned about a prairie dog's habitat? What does a prairie dog need? Well, I can see in the chart that it says under habitat, short and medium grass and desert prairies. So they live in short grass, but they also have a burrow underneath the ground. Those are 2 things I learned about a prairie dog's habitat while reading this story. So now, second graders, we will need your turn practice book and turn to page 76. On page 76, you will find the graphic organizer for main topic and key details. As a reminder, the main topic is what the selection is about, and key details give information about the main topic. So second graders, during the story while I was reading, I asked you all, what do you think the main topic of the selection is about? What was our story mostly about? Do you remember what you thought? Let's work together. We will read the passage and highlight the text that helps me identify the main topic of the selection. So here is a part of the first start of the story. It talks about a prairie guard dog. I also see the word prairie dog multiple times throughout this page. It tells me this place has what prairie dogs need. First, I see a prairie dog. And so I think that most of the story was all about prairie dogs. I learned where they lived. I learned about their predators like the badger. I learned about how they stand guard. The whole selection was all about prairie dogs. So for main topic, I am going to write prairie dogs. You can write this in now on page 76 in your turn practice book under main topic. Go ahead and pause this video if you need to write down prairie dogs and press play when you are ready to continue. All right, here we go. Now that we know our main topic is prairie dogs, we must find details that are all about prairie dogs, facts and information that the selection teaches us. And I see at the beginning of the story, we learn about a prairie dog named Pete, or what the author named him Pete. And Pete was keeping his head up out of his burrow by peeking up out of the burrow and keeping guard or keeping watch for his family. He was letting his family know when it was safe to come out. He was standing guard. So a detail I said was a prairie dog acts as a guard. That is something that is true for almost all prairie dogs. There is always a prairie dog standing guard. So go ahead and write down your first detail about prairie dogs. If you feel like you would rather come up with your own details, that is fine as well, as long as it relates back about prairie dogs. Let's continue reading. Pete is the guard and he is restless. He cannot rest because he is always looking around for danger. This allows the other prairie dogs to safely munch on grasses and seeds. They can also groom each other or work on their burrow. So Pete is on guard and he is always looking out for danger for the other prairie dogs. He is protecting them. There is always a prairie dog that is standing guard and is protecting the rest of the group. So I circled the part where he cannot rest because he was always looking out for danger. It allows the other prairie dogs to safely munch on grasses. That tells me that prairie dogs protect each other. They work together to make sure that they are living in a safe environment. So our second detail is that prairie dogs protect each other. Go ahead and pause this video to write down the sentence and press play when you are ready. Here's a new paragraph. I'm going to read it again. Break time. The sun gets higher and it is hot now. The prairie dogs slip into their deep burrow where it is cooler. Even Pete goes in. Wow. So when the sun gets high in the sky and it's really hot during the day, it sounds like all of the prairie dogs go back underground into their burrow. Even Pete, even the guard dog, goes in. I think that's an important detail about prairie dogs, that they cannot stay outside when it is too hot. So I'm circling that piece of information from the text and putting it into my own words. I wrote, prairie dogs stay underground to stay cool during the day. So it is too hot on the desert prairie. They must go back under the ground to stay cool. That is our third key detail. And second graders, I hope you notice that every detail has the word prairie dog in it because that is our main topic. So all of our details must be about prairie dogs. Here is a larger copy if you need to double check your work. So second graders, as you read your own nonfiction books, be sure to think about what is the main topic. Can you figure out what the story is mostly about? Once you've found out the main topic, you can read on to determine what key details are most important to the topic. In this case, we learned that prairie dogs can act as a guard, that prairie dogs protect each other, and that prairie dogs stay underground to stay cool during the day, and also to escape from predators. I hope you enjoyed learning all about prairie dogs today and learning a little bit more about their habitat. You all did a great job. Make sure that page 76 is complete with capital letters and periods in all of your sentences. Thanks so much for working with me, second grade. See you later.